Her story is incredible. She was shot by her husband in front of her two small kids, left for dead, and against all odds lived to tell about it. Author and speaker Hanna Lulgjuraj is here to share her amazing story. And your purpose, you said, in writing this is just to let other women know if you made it through this, people can get through anything.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your compassion and your writing this and just being here. I know it may be emotional to go back and visit the story, but can you explain what happened that day?
Yes, my husband came home from work in a rage, completely nervous, tense, uncontrollable. And I was on the phone speaking to some coworkers of mine, and I had just had a baby a few weeks prior. And he had a gun in his hand, and the gun was in a sock. So I tried to stall a little bit, and so he could calm down. So when I got off the phone, I immediately went into my master bedroom, and I hear him stomping through the house, calling out my name. And I yelled back at him, telling him I'm in the master bedroom. And he comes up to me, and he asks me for the money that he had asked me days prior. And I told him that I didn't have it. And he pulled out the gun, and he was about 2 or 3 feet away from me, and he shot me point blank.
The story from there, unbelievable. He thought that you were dead. He
Yes.
calls the police. He calls 911 and said that he had accidentally shot you in front of your very little girls. One was a baby. And then from there, he, at one point, flees the country.
Well, yes, but when he called for 911, he told the dispatch that there's been a murder in the house. So when the police and the ambulance and everyone came to the house, he thought I was dead. When they were working on me, they noticed that I was still breathing. So they went up to him and they said, "She's still alive. She's breathing." And that's when he pulled the gun out of his pocket and handed it over to the detectives and said, "Here's the gun. I shot her by accident."
Wow. Wow. I mean, I have chills hearing that story.
Yes.
Your beautiful girls, they're on the cover of this magazine called Foothills Living. You live in Arizona.
Yes.
Your daughters are all grown up now, and they look beautiful. They look like, they're living a really wonderful and productive life. And I know it was challenging for you because they still were maintaining a relationship with him.
Well, it was about a few years. He fled the country, then he came back, and I helped the detectives and the immigration department locate him. And then he went to trial. And then when he went to trial, he only spent about 2.5 years in prison. And when he got out, he wanted to have a relationship with my daughters, with our girls. So I wanted them to have some type of a relationship with him, despite of what he did to me. So he did see them very short time before then he was deported.
The fact that he served such a short time in prison and got out for good behavior, how did you deal with that?
Well, what I said to myself is, whatever is meant to be is going to be. And I just left it in God's hands, and if that's all he was meant to serve, then I was okay with it.
Your story of survival, of course you weren't supposed to survive, your husband didn't think that you did. How did you go back into rebuilding your life and starting that healing process?
It was all about self-empowerment. And that's what I want to tell the women out there, that, it's all about self-empowerment. There's so many different signs of abuse. I did not recognize them at the time. I recognize them today. And I'm trying to get the message out there to the women that if he hits you once, most likely he'll hit you again. And we control our own destiny. And we are in control of our own destiny. So that being said, you just have to pick up and just move on with life, and don't look back. And I urge all your viewers to please, please, please get out of that abusive relationship.
Other signs to look for that you may not have recognized at the time?
Well, he isolated me from my family and my friends. He was very agitated. Certain times he would be very preoccupied. He had something heavily weighing in his mind, and he was withdrawn, quiet, and then other times he was in a rage, tense, nervous, and it was just going back and forth.
So you recognize the signs now, and looking
Yes.
back, you said that they were there, you didn't see them, and now you're empowering other women to say, this is what you need to look for, and
Yes.
this is how you are giving back. We want people to be able to come out and meet you, because I think that you are just a living, breathing example of someone that has gone through such a challenging time, has made it to the other side, and is really giving a lot back to the world. So coming up, September 3rd, that is tomorrow. Holy
Yes.
cow, we're in September. The Barnes & Noble at Mira Mesa. You are going to be there from 2 to 4, signing books, shaking hands. And I guess if you had one last thing to say, Hanna, what would you like to leave our viewers with today?
It is all about self-empowerment, and if I can do this, they can do this.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and your daughters are beautiful. And
Thank you.
Thank you for creating such a wonderful and inspiring book.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you.